Today we're going to talk about how to actually send an email message to Microsoft Planner with attachments or without attachments and have it automatically create a task for you. This is actually a challenging topic for Microsoft, as there's some kind of holes in their strategy a little bit on how to do this, but this is a cookbook demonstration. So I'm going to literally go through every single thing that you need to do. So if you're trying to set this up, get ready to use that pause key. You can pause your way all the way through it and see everything and get it set up. This has been tried and tested already, so it should work perfectly within any environment. So stay tuned. Let's jump right into it. So to start, really, we need to kind of go back up to the top here. And this, like I said, this literally goes step by step. So the first thing that you need to do is in section 1 here, you need to develop the automation. So to do this, we're going to need to use a shared email box. Now, if you are the Office 365 administrator, see other videos that I have on creating a shared email box. It's really not that tough. If you're not, just ask and tell them that you need a shared email box. And a shared email box is kind of that email box that you see info@mydomain.com, right? So that's kind of a shared email box with the intent that multiple people can see it. We're not using it in that way. We're just going to automate it. So what we want to do is everything that goes to the inbox is going to automatically be evaluated whether it has attachments or not, and then automatically create a task for us. So then from any email client, we can just type in the shared email address. For example, here, Snuffy's tasks at whatever your email address is, and it'll automatically create a task for you in your to-do. This is a wonderful way to keep you from forgetting things that need to be done and being able to quickly organize your thoughts. So section number 2 here, we're going to go through and build this automation with no attachments. So the first thing you need to do is open up Power Automate and select the templates. Once you're inside of the templates, select this template right here. And again, pause this video if you need to. Create a task in Planner when a new email. Type that exactly as it is right there into your templates area, and this template's going to come up. Now, something that you need to remember here is that at the bottom of this screen, kind of right down here, is this screen. And you want to make sure that it has 3 check marks. If it doesn't have 3 check marks, although I don't show you on this video, basically click the ellipsis there, the 3 dots, and say fix, and then sign in with your credentials. And eventually it should look like this. Honestly, by default, it almost always looks this way for me. So this should not be an issue for you. The next thing we want to do is we need to identify what that shared email box is. So with this template, right, that we just copied, this template right here, we're actually building off of that template. So the first action box that you see inside there is when a new email arrives in a shared mailbox. And we're going to type in that shared email address. So in this case, we might type in Snuffy's tasks or joe.snuffy at what, well, that's not a shared mailbox, but this one, Snuffy tasks, right? That might be the name of, or info at, whatever that shared email box is. You want to type that in. Then you want to select this icon right here and click inbox. So you can't just type in inbox. You got to click on that and select inbox. The next action box that you're going to see on your screen here is get further time. And then I just do it. I have it check every minute. You can set this up for once a week, once a day, whatever it is that works for you. The next thing that we're going to do, the next box that you're going to see is create a task. Now within create a task, you're going to click on this down arrow right here, and you're going to click on your planner ID, right? So if you have a planner ID, you know, whatever it is, it's all going to appear there because you're logged in. Select the one that you want. For example, I have one called Lush that I keep just for my personal stuff. That would be the one I would select. For the title, we're going to build out the title, but I wanted to show how we do that using dynamic content here. Remember this step image 2.4, because we're going to use this multiple times throughout this video. So here we're just going to click right here next to the title, and it's going to pop up this window. Now, if your screen is not wide enough, this may appear here. I would suggest making your window a little bit wider so that you can see this pop up to the right, because I think it's a lot easier to use. You're going to type here. Notice dynamic content is selected. It's underlined, and just start typing in subject. And by the time you get through sub, it's going to come up right there, subject. Something to remember here. Notice the icon. The icon is an Outlook icon. These icons inside of Power Automate are really important, so pay attention to them. But this is the one that we want. All right, and that's all we do for that. Now we're going to add some more things to that subject line. And again, you can add the things that you want to. This is just an example of how I do it, and then you can modify it from there. But see, notice here, I put the subject line in, I put these pipes in, and I put, who's going to take charge of that, what the level of effort is associated with it, right? And then I put in the date dash a random number, and this is what I call a unique identifier. And I use this on everything. So if you want to learn more about unique identifiers, see another video that I have. But here in this FX, so when you pull up here, it says dynamic content. Instead, you're going to click right here on expression. All right, and expression, you're going to see where it'll say FX, and you want to type in utcNow with open parens. And when it comes up, it's going to come up just like this, but it'll come up right here. You'll be able to adjust it. I have a screen later, but you'll be able to adjust it. But put in this. It should say utcNow open paren, okay, single quote there, dd-mm-YYY close, right? Do exactly what it says right here. Then the next thing, minus, and then FX again. You're going to go back to the expression. FX again, you're going to type in rand, open paren 99, 1000. You can use any numbers that you want. I just wanted all of these identifiers to start at 99. And then I put in here a square bracket and I put email task. Again, that's just something I do. You don't have to do it, but this is what's going to appear in the subject of the task. Now let's go on to the task itself. So within the task, and here's an FX example right here. So as we choose this utcNow, we're inside of the assigned user, inside of the details itself. So we're going to create the task. This is all the information that's needed within that task. So bucket ID, we're going to click on to do. All right, that's the bucket that I use. You could use whatever you want. You'll click on that down arrow. Due date, you're going to type in utcNow. Okay, right there, choose utcNow, type that in. And this is that FX box I'm telling you about right here, okay? And then put your email address in here, and this is going to assign it to you. Next thing that you're going to see on your screen is HTML to text. Don't worry about it. It's everything that you need it to be. Don't touch it. So just kind of leave it there, all right? The next thing that we're going to see are the task details. So we need to enter in the task details. Now I put in all the content right here. So we're going to choose again from the dynamic content subject. We're going to put the initiation date at utcNow with this. And then we're going to put the plain text content under the details related to the task. And you can see that right here. You can see I put in ID. So you'll want to put in ID. Now when you click to find that ID, it's at the very bottom. You click on it and it's kind of towards the middle. But you'll want to type in ID, and notice it's got the planner icon there, okay? Then you put in all this text, anything that you want. This is what I do. Do what works for you. And then you're going to click right there after task, and you're going to click in there, and then the pop-up box is going to appear. So this pop-up box is going to appear again. You're going to type in sub, and you're going to hit subject. All right? So again, subject right there. Type in this stuff. utcNow, same thing we did right here. We're going to click in that box. An expression will come up. We'll type it in. We'll put in everything it says to put in right there. And then here, the plain text, again, we're going to click in that dynamic content. Remember, that's right here, dynamic content. And we're going to type in the plain text content. It's going to come up. And it's purple. It kind of stands by itself, usually at the top of the screen. And that's it. We're going to do that. We're good to go. That's it. Now you're done with creating your first flow. Now we're going to actually create two flows in this video. This is the first flow, and this is no attachments. So we're not making any attachments in here. You're going to see we're going to change some things to accept to accept attachments. So here is an example of what that looks like when you get it. Okay, so this is the actual task that's been created. No attachment to task. This is the subject, right, of the email, right? The plan will be up here. Your plan name will be there. You'll have this stuff. Remember, we put that in there. This is that date format. This is that randomized number. Remember, we had this at the end of the task. The name of the person, whatever email address, the name of the person will be assigned there. Then here you can see that data, right? So here's that date, right? The task initiation date. Here's, again, the subject. Same subject, same subject. Okay, so I think you get the idea. So that's it. So congratulations, you're over halfway through this. So the next thing we need to do is create a SharePoint folder. Now, within your planner area, you're going to see this is located at the top in the middle of the screen. So go back to Planner, click on the plan that you're working on, right? For, in this example, Lush, for example, might be the name of the plan. And at the very top, you're going to see Board, Chart, Schedule, and these three dots. Click on those three dots and click on Files. What that's going to do is it's going to take you directly to into the files that are associated with that plan and with that Outlook group. What we want to do, and what I've done here, is I've created a folder called Tasks under General. So you can navigate. You can put this anywhere that you want. Doesn't matter where you put it. But you can see here some examples of attachments that have come in for my testing, right? So I created tasks. Whatever you do, just remember what you did. Keep that SharePoint site open because we're going to need that URL in a minute. Here, we're on the last step. We're going to build the automation now. Now, this automation is with the attachments, and this is critical. We're going to have two flows here in Power Automate. One that does the attachments, one that does not do the attachments. Okay? There is a way to merge them, but it was easier to explain this as two separate flows, and there's no harm in having two separate flows. So here in section 2, we built the one with no attachments. In section 4, we're going to build the one with attachments. Okay? So, great, no problem. So we're going to find that flow. So we're going to go back to Power Automate, and we're going to locate that flow, and we're going to click on it once. As you see here in this image, it's going to come open to this screen, this background screen, and then you're going to click on Save As. See it right there? Save As. And we're going to save it as the one with attachments. Okay, we're going to choose Save right there. So we're going to enter that in, hit Save, and then we're going to click on Edit, which is right there in the upper left-hand corner. And that's going to bring us into editing this flow. So the first thing we need to do, again, remember, this is a copy of the flow that we've already created. So we're just kind of editing it right now. So here, we're going to put in the shared email address. Remember at the very first part of this video, we talked about this shared email. So put in the shared email address right there. Click again on the folder here to go to the inbox, right? So if you have to do that. Now, this, you shouldn't have to put this in, by the way. This should just come over because you copied the template. But just in case you do, remember what you have to do. And if you don't remember, go to the top of this. Go back to the beginning of the video. Here, there's two critical things we want to do. Notice here, only with attachments and include attachments. We want to click on those and hit yes. So we want to make sure that happens, okay? So right now, our planner screen, our Power Automate screen will have these 4 boxes for sure, right? When a new email, get future time, create a task, HTML, and there will actually be another one down here, task details. We want to delete that. So when you look at your Power Automate for this flow, we only want to see these 4. And to delete, you click on the 3 dots and hit delete. Okay, then we're going to click, once that looks like this, we're going to add. By clicking on that little plus, we're going to hit add an action. And it may just say add action in a box as well. So whatever it is, add an action. The first action we want to add is message ID. The first action we want to add is right here. Get attachments V2. So type in the box, get attachments V2. and it's going to find this, click on it, and then you'll be brought right into here. So this is the action right here. And we want to enter in, this is message ID and attachments. So the first one we want to look for is message ID. Notice the Outlook icon. Second one is attachments, attachment ID. So we want to do that. And then we want to, again, put in that shared email address. That goes right there. Okay? So those are the three things we do on that screen. Easy enough. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add, oh, and by the way, when you hit this get attachment, because it's reaching back into the attachments, it's going to create an apply to each. It won't say get attachments. It'll say apply to each. It's a little gray box with these arrows that kind of go like that. The reason for that is because if it has multiple attachments, it's going to keep cycling through till it finishes all the attachments. And it is going to add this attachments right here. So your screen will look like this apply to each, and then this will probably close on you, right? So make sure that you've got everything typed in right. This will probably close, but it's going to say attachments, get attached. So it should look just like this. We're going to click on that plus sign again, and we're going to add create a file. So we're going to add another step here. So here, choose a plus sign, say get attachments, right? Which we already did, create a file, and then we're going to put all that in. All right. So here, we're going to click on create a file. That's the new box we're going to add. And we're going to click on this down arrow and add our SharePoint address. So we're going to add the SharePoint address. Then we're going to click on this folder and we're going to go to wherever we created that task folder. These are for the attachments. Remember, we did it in step 3. So here we'll go and click on there. Remember, you can't type this in. You've got to click on it. Next thing, you're going to have your file name and your file content. So here, your file name is choose attachment. So you want to look for dynamic content again, just like you did in 2.4, attachment name. And then you want to click on content bytes. All right. And that's what goes in here under file content. So we're cruising here. We're almost done, actually. So now we're going to create the file in SharePoint. So what we need to do is go back over to SharePoint. So go back over to wherever you have that folder created, and you're going to go to where those files are, and you're going to open it up. Notice here I have one of those files. You're going to click on copy link. So when you click on copy link, that's going to copy the URL to where this folder is. We're going to need that in the next step. All right. So the final step here is to recreate the task details. So this is a different task details than above. Shares a lot of the similar attributes. We just added some stuff up here at the top. Because there's an attachment, we're adding in the URL to where those attachments are. So you want to paste in the URL that you hit copy link here. You want to paste it in right here in attachment in. Okay. Then you want to add attachment name. And this is, again, another Outlook one. It's called attachments. Where is it? It's called attachments name. Okay. So it looks like I need to fix. No, it's right here. You want to choose attachment name right there from the dynamic content. Okay. So we're going to choose that. Then the subject is the same as we had up above. We're going to choose subject. We're going to do the utcNow. Here's the format for that. And then we're going to choose again the plain text content, which is at the bottom. Now, the difference here, and we're done, by the way. This is the last example. So here, this is the task that's created as a result of having an attachment. Looks very similar to the one with no attachments. The only difference is that it provides for us a URL here at the top. So it tells us where the attachment is, and it becomes a hyperlink. So I can quickly, when I'm in this task, go to where those files are in SharePoint. The second thing we've done is we put in the name of the attachment. So in this case, O365events.csv, so that we know when we click on this link, we know what file we're looking for, because you're going to have lots of files in there. And then this stuff, again, is all the same. That is how you successfully create a environment to capture your planner tasks and from an email message directly into Planner. So remember, we did no attachment and we did an attachment. And once you get it all working, then you'll just be able to send an email to that shared email box, and it'll automatically create a task for you with and without your attachments in whatever plan and bucket you choose.